So here we are on the south coast on a beautiful sunny day in the middle of winter on what must be one of the most popular beaches to walk dogs on in the middle of winter. And I'm joined by Sue Morris from Nurturing by Nature. And Sue, I'm really interested to understand how it is you came to be part of the team here.
Well, the team are my family, first and foremost. And I started my career in veterinary nursing in Bournemouth. Quite a while ago now, this is quite a while ago. And then I had a small dog grooming business from my home.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked for quite a few years. I then had Adam and worked around bringing Adam up dog grooming. In the meantime, I did some locuming, filling in for vet nursing in the area. And then I went to work more or less full time in a practice. And time went on, and I was thinking perhaps I might be thinking to be coming to the end of my nursing career. Nurturing by Nature was up and running, but it had moved from Nettie's kitchen and it had moved to the shop into West Moors. And there was a time when we had a chat all together, and Nurturing by Nature approached me and said, would I like to work with them? And I jumped at the chance. I just thought that this was a lovely opportunity to move into another avenue, really, all to do with animals, pets, feeding, etc. And my experience as a veterinary nurse, I felt would be beneficial.
So with all that experience in veterinary nursing, which do you think are the key pieces of that you were able to bring into the business that now really help customers?
Well, the experience I had during practice, general health, weight gaining in the latter years was a big problem with the dogs and cats due to changes of lifestyle, changes of food, and also a few skin problems. Grooming came into it because I was able to give advice onto customers with perhaps a new puppy that they had and they hadn't had a dog before and didn't know quite what was expected. And I found over the years, whether I've been in the shop, I was in the shop at early doors at Upton, able to help set the shop up, and I have found that my experience has come through in many avenues, really, more than I realised. More than I realised.
Marvellous, it's marvellous. So what are the most common issues and questions that people bring to you when they are considering making this change towards a natural diet?
I think one of the questions is how old has their pet got to be before they can go onto the raw diet. That seems to be a big question mark. People seem to think that they have to be a certain age before they can go on to raw. The other one is also very often the pet is overweight, and we can help. Raw feeding helps a great deal with overweight. And I think general health, really, general health. The digestion seems to be a big problem with a lot of animals. I would say mainly dogs. Digestion seems to be a big problem. Skin issues, allergies, and it encompasses all the general well-being of the pet, I think. And obviously we see more dogs because we don't see the cats, we just hear about the cats. But I think because there are a lot more now pets kept indoors, cats kept indoors, I think weight is a big issue for them as well.
So what do you think is the main trigger for people coming and talking and discussing these things with you?
I think people when they're out dog walking, we live particularly because we're at Upton, we're near a big area of dog walkers, and West Moors has got the forestry. I think people talk to each other. Customers will talk to each other. They will mention that their dogs had a problem perhaps with their stomach or coat or skin, and the person they're talking to will say, you want to try raw feeding. Since I've made the transition, my pet has been transformed himself. I think that's the biggest, word of mouth.
So it's very much word of mouth.
Definitely.
And the experience that people actually have.
And also people when they're out and about can see a healthy dog, not so much cat now because we're obviously a bit of a different area, cats. But I think people can recognise a healthy looking dog, and then they will ask the owners, your dog looks well, what do you feed it on? And I think from talking to people, they do see our advertising, but they also talk to each other.
Yeah. So the physical evidence becomes overwhelming.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes,
So thinking back over the last couple of years, it's obviously been difficult to talk to people on a face-to-face basis. So presumably you've been doing a lot of giving a lot of advice over the phone or remotely.
Yep.
How has that worked out?
I found that works quite well. It's worked quite well for me because I'm at home and I can have a look at the website. I can chat to people also, and I've also been able to give a lot of advice. But also when I've discovered that they live close, either to Westmoors or to Upton, I've also been able to say, would you be able to take your dog into the shop, and you'll be able to see the array of food that we have in the freezers and talk to the staff. And that's worked really well. But also I've had a lot of inquiries from people that have just never even thought about raw feeding, but they have met somebody out on a dog walk and they have recommended us, and that's where it's all started from.
Again, it comes back to this word of mouth and the obvious physical evidence of improvement in their pets.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think when you see a healthy looking dog, and sometimes we always use the poor old Labrador, when you see a well balanced Labrador with muscle formation, they've got a waist, they look slim. People don't think of Labradors or Cocker Spaniels for that matter. They don't think of them as slim. No. And with raw feeding, you can recognise raw fed dogs.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So what's changed in over the last 20 or so years in terms of people's understanding of raw feeding?
I think the proof of the pudding basically is in the eating. I think it speaks for itself. I think when you raw feed, you can see the difference in your pet. I personally, like a lot of people, fed kibble. I've had dogs all my life, since I was 7, and we fed what there was, what there was available. We've always exercised our dogs, but I think what's changed is education, the opportunity to try and see how your pet gets on with it. But I think mainly is education. People are keen to be healthy themselves, be more active themselves, and they want this for their pet as well. It's not for everybody, but I would say the vast majority of people want to try it. And if there is any doubt in people, once they've started, even for a week, they see a difference, and they're keen to continue.
No, absolutely.
I would always say, give it a try, and you'll see.
And of course, with the support of you and other people in the team, you're never on your own in making this particular switch and this journey.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. From the last couple of years, I've been on the phone, but I've been also able to say that if they're local, as we said, they can go into the shop or they can look on the website. There's a vast amount of information on our website, and we are always available on the phone. There's always a member of the team available to be able to answer questions or just generally give people support, because some people worry more than others, and we're there to support them right through.
That's fantastic. So I mean, there are obviously other companies out there that promote natural diets. So what in your view makes Nurturing by Nature so special?
I think the quality of our food. We source human grade good quality food. We know that all the suppliers are visited by our team, so they know what we're having. They know what they're going to receive. I think also the fact that we pride ourselves in customer service. We are always, nothing is ever too much trouble, and if there's a problem, we always solve it. We don't try to solve it, we solve it.
Yeah.
We deal with things, and we deal with the people themselves, and I think that makes a big difference. And it's the same when you're dealing with new people coming on board with the diet. There is a guide. There is a guide that we say, and we can give them this is how it is, but then we deal with the person and their pet individually, because every dog is different and every human is different, and so they look at it all in their own way, really.
That's fantastic. I mean, it's obviously comparatively easy to create a nice looking website. It's much more difficult and much harder to provide individual advice that reflects both the individuality of the pet and the individuality of the owner.
And I think that's important, because not all dogs are athletes. That some people have pets, and for whatever reason, they might have an illness, they might not be able to get out and about, but that pet is so important to them, and so perhaps that pet has a bit of a couch potato life through no fault, but it's in playing an important role in that family's life. And so we can tailor the diet to that dog or cat, as it may be. If you've got a dog that goes running with their owner, we can tailor it for that. Yeah, and I think that's important, not just look at as a square box and this is it. I think you have to look outside the box.
So it's a very holistic approach, thinking about not only the welfare of the pet, the health of the pet, but also the lifestyle that surrounds it.
Absolutely, lifestyle, yeah, and more so these days, because we're able, well, where we are now, we're very fortunate living here, and you can see today there's hundreds of dogs on the beach, and this is the way it is, isn't it? We are lucky here.
Yeah.